Hi everybody, this is another Flying Rookie video, and this video is introduction of my latest project. And as you can see, this big mess that I got over here on my table, that means that something is cooking. And what is cooking is a tricopter that I'm gonna build, and it's gonna be my first aircraft that require a servo to be able to fly. So as you can see, I got the motors, the ESCs, all the required wires, the servo, everything that I need to build the tricopter. So let's start with the flight controller. This is the flight controller over here. This is the Eagle N6B2 flight controller, and this is a really cheap flight controller. It goes for like around $30, $35 on eBay. Okay, and you can buy it from different sellers. Like Good Luck Buy and some others. This flight controller over here, one of the nice things about it is it's very simple. Any settings that you do with this flight controller doesn't require you to the use of a computer. Everything that you do, any settings, you do it through these dip switches over here. Okay, so the first three dip switches are the ones that you use to select what type of multirotor aircraft you're flying. This flight controller, as far as I know, is designed to handle 6 different types of multirotors. So you can fly 2 types of hexacopter, 2 types of quadcopter, plus and X. You can fly a white 6 and a white 3. And white 3 is why I'm going to use this, a tricopter. Okay, and to be able to control this flight controller, all you need is a 4-channel radio. Okay, so any 4-channel and up, you should be okay with that. Okay, now it requires electronic speed controls that they are faster than 450 hertz. Okay, so you have to be 450 hertz or faster. The last dip switch over here will allow you to use 2 kinds of fly mode. So you can fly on stabilized mode or on 3D mode. Okay, so you can select that right here, and then finally over here, this is where you adjust the gains. Okay, so you got the yaw, the pitch, and the roll, and everything gets set up, down here. So it's a very simple flight controller. One of the things about this flight controller is that for you to be able to use it or mount it on the aircraft, it doesn't come with the little holes in the corners, because this one is smaller than a KK size, flight controller. So this one you have to stick it with like gyro, double-sided, anti-vibration tape, like the one that I got over here. So you have to buy this Spartan gyro anti-vibration double-sided, gyro tape, and put it underneath, and that's the way you mount it into the aircraft. Okay, so but I like it. It's very simple. It flies good. It flies good. It's pretty decently designed and simple flight control. Okay, for me what I'm gonna use to connect the flight controller to the receiver, I got this leftover wires from all the NASAs that I purchased in the past. They come with extra wires, so these are the wires that I'm going to use to plug this to the receiver. The receiver that I'm going to be using here, since all my aircrafts I fly with the high-tech Aurora 9 radio. The receiver that I'm going to be using is the Optima 6. That's this receiver over here. This receiver will allow me to connect, the 4 basic channels that I need to control the Eagle N6B2 flight controller. They're going to have 2 auxiliary channels that I can use it for whatever I want to use it. One nice thing about this receiver is that some people sometimes they connect like a BC to just in case if the aircraft draws too much power, the receiver won't run out of power, and it will lose the signal. It will cause other complications. This receiver is designed to be connected directly to the battery. Okay, so I got this jumper over here that looks like the jumpers on the Spectrum radios that will allow you to do the binding, but this is not for binding. If you power in this receiver from the ESC, so from the flight controller, then you have to have this jumper on. But if you want to power this receiver directly from the battery of the aircraft, you have to remove this jumper out of here, and then put a Futaba style, Futaba J cable, like the ones that I got over here. I got a lot of them over here, but all I need is just one. And then just plug it here, and then you can solder this to the battery connector or to the power distribution board, like the one that I got over here. And then this thing will get the power directly from the battery. And the coolest thing is, it can handle all the way up to 30 volts. So this thing is, this receiver got volts, you know, it can handle that much, but only if you connect this wire over here from the battery. That's the only way. If you put that wire over here, you're gonna burn the receiver. Okay, over here the most it can handle things like 5 or 6 volts or something like that. But from here, there's not gonna be no issue. It can handle all the way up to 30 volts. And the nice thing is, this receiver, it sends to the radio, back to the radio, telemetry data of the voltage of the battery. And when you go to the telemetry menu on the radio, you can turn on the LiPo alarm on the radio. So when the battery reaches certain voltage, so you can program the LiPo alarm at what point you want the LiPo alarm to go off. So you will get the telemetry data, and you will get a LiPo alarm on your radio. So that's even that makes this receiver even better. So this connection, it got two purposes. It can power the receiver directly from the battery without the need of a BC, and it also sends you the telemetry data voltage from the for the aircraft, that will allow you to use your radio the battery section on your radio to activate the LiPo alarm and use the LiPo alarm telemetry system on your radio. So that's great. The auxiliary channels that I'm going to have available on this receiver, one of them are going to connect this thing over here. This is something that everybody should have on any aircraft. These are loss alarm. So you are flying like in an area where, you know, it's tall grass or trees or a lot of bushes, and you got some accident, you know, like the aircraft, either you fly too far and you lose the signal, or maybe you lose a prop or something electronically goes wrong with the aircraft. You can flip a switch on the radio that will activate this alarm, and it's pretty loud. It's almost as loud as a smoke alarm. So it will help you find the aircraft. So this is very important. It's really cheap. It costs like $6 or $7 on eBay. Okay, so it's a must-have. Okay, the power distribution board I'm going to be using is this cheap power distribution board. I think I paid like $7 or $8 for it. It's like a good block buy power distribution board, and I mean, you got all the basic, you know, tabs and everything. You know, since this is a tricopter, I don't need that many connections, you know, available for me to be able to hook the you know, all the electronics and the ESCs and all the auxiliary electronics over here. You just got what I need. So this thing is perfect. Okay. The ESCs I'm going to be using here are this next level 40 amp ESCs, and the best part about these ESCs is they are Simon Cave rapid ESCs, so they're super responsive. So they're going to make these aircraft, you know, have, you know, like a crisper response, and it's going to fly better. Because of that, since the flight controller require, you know, ESCs that they are 450 hertz or faster, this ESC is going to outperform those requirements, because it's going to go beyond those requirements, because this one is 600 hertz. So that's good. And the reason I'm going to use 40 amps is because the motors that I'm going to be using over here needs to work with 40 amp ESCs. This is going to be quite large tricopter, so I'm going to need large motors to fly it. Okay, the motors that I'm going to be using here is NTM prop drives from Hobby King. And these motors that I got, they are the 3530 1100 kV. These motors, they can work either with 3 or 4 cell LiPos, but if you use 4 cell LiPos, you have to use 10-inch props. Since I'm going to fly this aircraft from 4 cell, then I'm going to use these 10-inch props that I got over here, that they are APC 10 by 3/8. One thing that you guys got to remember is if you buy these motors for any of your multirotor aircraft, you have to buy the prop mount that doesn't come from the factory. So it comes in a package like this. It comes with a additional motor mount, comes with a prop mount, all the accessories that you need to mount the prop into your motor. And one more thing is, if you use these motors on a quadcopter, hexacopter, that's not a problem. But you use these motors on a tricopter, this shaft might interfere. You use this on the tail of the tricopter, since the tail pivots, from one side to the other. The shaft might hit, the sides of the motor mount when the motor pivots. So you might have to cut, a little bit of the motor shafts, and that way the motor will move freely without hitting anything. So that's something that you have to remember with this motor. So you can use a Dremel tool to cut the extra length of the shaft. You don't have to cut the whole shaft, just a little bit. So that way it won't hit anything with the motor's pivoting. Now the two motors that are gonna go on the front, you don't have to do anything. The shaft is not gonna interfere with anything. Just the motor that goes on the back. So this motor, since already I cut this little portion of the shaft, I cut probably like 4 millimeters or 5 millimeters of the shaft. Now it's not gonna be hitting anything. Okay, going back to these wires that I got over here. I'm not going to use all of them, obviously, but I got some female and male JST connectors, and this thing is going to be used to power, the FPV equipment, and to power, all the future auxiliary upgrades on the aircraft. Who knows? I might decide to put LED lights and some other stuff. And like I showed before, this one is the Futaba J, and this is the one that I'm going to use to power the receiver, but I only need one. I don't need all this package. It's just like when I went to eBay, they gave me all this extra ones. And since I'm constantly building aircrafts, it's good to have more than less. This is the pre-solder connector that I'm going to use. And I'm going to solder it on the power distribution board. It's a TRX Traxxas connector, and as you can see, it's not, most people in the world, they mostly use these connectors, or they use all the types of connectors for aircraft. But from the beginning, since I always had, RC cars and trucks, I always like, how the Traxxas connectors work. They are low resistant, high power connectors, and they are easy to solder and put together, so that's why I decided to use this one instead of the typical, connectors that people use on aircraft. And the nice thing is, this ones, they are ready to use. When I bought on eBay, it came with a package of 10, and they come already pre-soldered. So now the only thing you got to do is just solder this to here to the power distribution board, and you're ready to go. Here I got the male and female 3.5 millimeter connectors that I'm going to use with the wires that they are going from the power distribution board to the ESCs. And I'm also going to make like extension wires between the ESCs and the motors. I mean, only for the rear motor, because the rear motor is gonna be like, it's gonna, like pivot, and I don't want the ESC's wires, moving from side to side. So I'm gonna secure it on the tail boom of the tricopter, and I'm gonna put like a 3-inch extension wire. So the stretching wires are the ones that they're gonna flex instead of the ESC's or the motor wires. I don't want this thing to, do all that flexing. I'd rather just have, some extra wires for that. So these are the wires that I'm going to use to power the ESCs and for the extension. I got 14 gauge red and black, and for the extension that I'm going to make between the motor and the ESCs, I'm going to use the red, black, and blue. Okay, they are all in our 14 gauge. To mount all the motors, I got these Dubro screws there. I got 3 by 6 millimeters. I got 3 by 4 millimeters. And this is what's going to be used to mount the motors on the aircraft. Okay. This part over here is the back of the tricopter frame, and this thing, as you can see, pivots. So this is where the motor is going to go, and it's going to pivot from side to side. Okay, so that way the aircraft will do the jaw, will rotate, either to the right or to the left. Okay, so this is what does the magic on the tricopters. The servo that I'm going to be using here is a high-tech servo, and this servo is a micro servo. It's a digital micro servo with metal gears. Okay, so it's the HS 5056 MD. Okay, so that's going to go on the tailbone over here on this hull, and that's why I'm going to be controlling the steering. The rotation of the aircraft, either to the right or to the left. Okay. These are some of the other hardware of the frame. So I got over here the motor mounts with the screws, and these screws that I got here are the ones that will allow me to mount the tail of the tricopter into the tricopter. So this is pretty much, all the hardware that you need to make everything work together. These straps that I got over here are the ones that you will use. The batteries, the batteries on the small, like 450, 250, RC helicopters. Well, these ones are used to strap the video transmitter into the aircraft. So I mount the video transmitter with Velcro into the aircraft, but I strap it at the same time. So I want to double secure everything, so that way nothing comes off and fall off of the aircraft. And finally, the frame. Now, as you can see, the frame is kind of built. It was partially built, but there's a reason for that. It's like from the factory, when you buy this frame from the seller on eBay, there's also the owner of the company that built this frame. He built the frame, probably 80% of the frame is built, so that's good. You don't have to be wasting your time, doing the whole, building process. And I really like this frame. As you can see, you got over here the protection for the flight controller and the power distribution board, so that's really cool. So you got everything protected over here, and down here, that's where the battery goes. Over here, and you see you got the holes to put, like a large battery strap. And on this tab over here, that's where you put the GoPro. But you don't put just the GoPro plain over here. You can put the GoPro with the case and everything. Even if that's extra weight, this is a large, tricopter. It's close to like a 700 size. So, I mean, if I open the arms right now, I mean, it's just not gonna fit the screen. You just have to, put the camera. You can see the whole thing over here. It's pretty big. It will get bigger once I mount the the tail mechanism and the motor mounts in the front. It will get even bigger than this. Okay, so that's the nice thing about tricopters. They're big. So the nice thing is because because you can fold the arms, you can travel, and you can have like a small charger, a few, like 3 or 4 batteries. They're removing everything like a small duffel bag, and you can carry everything, so it's easy. If I decide to travel or if I decide to take an airplane somewhere, this aircraft is gonna come with me, this tricopter, because of that reason. Another thing about the way you mount the way the GoPro goes mounted over here is that the GoPro is going to be isolated from vibration, because this complete plate in the bottom, you got these rubber mounts over here, so it will absorb the vibration. So the nice thing is you're not going to get the toilet. You're not going to get the jello effect that you normally get, with the GoPros or any other camera when you fly, and they get the vibration from the prop. I do balance the props all the time, so this thing helps even more. So that's really cool. Okay, so this is the frame over here. So pretty much this is it. I guess I show everything that's going to be installed in the aircraft. There's a couple of little things that I do not have that I gotta buy, but they are not critical for me to buy the aircraft. And the stuff that I need is FPV related. I need to buy the video transmitter. Also, I need to buy the OSD, because I want to use the OSD over here, and the wire that's going to allow me to connect this aircraft to the GoPro. I gotta buy that too. So that's some minor stuff that I have to buy. The video transmitter is the most expensive thing that I gotta buy over here. Well, the video transmitter that I'm gonna use here is gonna be like a 400 milliwatt Foxtec 5.8 gigahertz video transmitter, and that's gonna be good enough for me to go, far away with the video goals that I got. I do already got cloverleaf antenna, so I don't need to bother with that. It's just the video transmitter, a couple of other little things, and I should be ready to go. Okay, so this is the end of the video, and I appreciate that you guys stop by into my channel to hear me talking about this stuff that I do, the stuff that I love, these fine multirotors. And please don't forget to, if you like the video, don't forget to click the like button, and don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching, everybody. Okay.